cases, they resort to the use of live bullets, yet there is opportunity to use non-lethal means of riot control. Whatever the circumstances, we remind the police to always seek to protect the sanctity of human life. We also call upon the Independent Policing Oversight Authority to expediently investigate the circumstances surrounding every death so that those found culpable may be prosecuted. On the outcome of the fresh presidential election, the NCCK recognizes that on the 1st of September 2017, the Supreme Court made a ruling that required the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, to conduct fresh presidential elections within 60 days in line with the country's constitution and attendant laws. In line with that ruling, Kenyans were accorded an opportunity to exercise their civic duty on 26th of October 2017. We recognize that the election was boycotted by the National Super Alliance. Nevertheless, the IEBC organized the elections and yesterday declared Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta the winner and thus the president-elect. This is in line with their constitutional mandate. Appreciably, the fresh presidential election has been contested as regards to its legitimacy. To continue promoting the rule of law, we urge any Kenyans who are aggrieved to take advantage of the constitutional provisions that allow for filing of petitions at the Supreme Court of Kenya. We must not allow ourselves to express our grievances through means that undermine the very Constitution. National divisions and grievances. This election has left the country grossly divided along ethnic and political lines. This has greatly strained our national unity and exposed the country to inter-ethnic conflicts as has started emerging in the recent past. These ethnic conflicts expose the country to anarchy. We call for tolerance and urge Kenyans not to threaten the lives of others. Let our diversity be a building block for our national unity. Admittedly, however, these divisions are expressions of unresolved grievances and perceptions of exclusion and denial of dignity for the opposition by the arrangement of power as defined in the Constitution of Kenya 2010. We note and support the calls for dialogue by all actors to resolve this underlying problem that cannot be resolved through elections. We also appreciate the undertaking by the President-elect that if confirmed at the expiry of the electoral process, he is willing to reach out to the leadership of the opposition and engage in dialogue. We urge that this dialogue is expanded to be a national conversation that includes all Kenyans so as to harness our diversities. We urge all Kenyans to affirm this process and invest energies in clarifying ways of addressing the gaps and strengthening both our governance and our nationhood. The NCCK proposal on the way forward. In our last program committee meeting, we invited Kenyans to consider a constitutional amendment that would address this problem. We hereby restate the proposal and appreciate that it can be improved. We recommend that Kenyans, through Parliament, amend the Constitution of Kenya 2010 to provide for A, an expansion of the executive to provide for the President to appoint a Prime Minister and 2 deputies as part of the executive of the winning party or coalition. The Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Ministers will sit on the cabinet and may answer questions in Parliament. These positions can be ascribed other names. We hasten to add that this is an expanded executive of the winning party or coalition. It is not a nusu mkate arrangement. If coalitions are made with parties or individuals who ran for elections outside the winning party or coalition, it will be at the discretion of and under the unequivocal leadership of the elected president. B, We call for the restoration of the position of leader of the official opposition as was in the old constitution, and the creation of the position of deputy leader of official opposition in parliament. These positions would be occupied by nominees of the political party or coalition which meets a set criteria, who may be the presidential candidate and running mate who obtain the second highest number of votes in a presidential election. This is necessary if we are to provide dignity for the opposition and an effective and facilitative mechanism of holding the government to account. Our conclusion. We conclude by calling on Kenyans to tolerate each other and purpose to live in harmony. Let us focus on what brings us together and the unique opportunities presented that make Kenya stand out in this region. As we do that, we should always bear in mind that in order not to allow politics to divide us, we must deal with each other honestly and authentically without evading our contradictions. We must seize the available opportunities to entrench our democracy and operationalize both the letter and spirit of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. God bless Kenya. This statement is signed on this 31st day of October 2017 at Ufungamano House, Nairobi, by Archbishop Moffat Kilioba, the chairperson of the program committee, and the Reverend Canon Peter Karanja, the General Secretary of NCCK. Thank you very much.
Bishop, looks like there are questions. Leila, you have a question? Okay.
Good afternoon.